Hello there, it's Baka64. I want to make a video about Asperger syndrome. It's a disability that I have. Well, first of all, what is Asperger syndrome? Being Health here talks about the symptoms, and they include, but not limited to, engaging in one-sided, long-winded conversations without noticing if the listener is listening or trying to change the subject, displaying unusual nonverbal communication such as lack of eye contact, few facial expressions, or awkward body postures and gestures, showing an intense obsession with one or two specific narrow subjects such as baseball, statistics, train schedules, weather, or snakes, appearing not to understand, empathize, or to be sensitive to others' feelings, having a hard time reading other people or understanding humor, speaking in a voice that is monotonous, rigid, or unusually fast, and moving clumsily with poor coordination. I have a few of those problems myself. Apparently, anyway. I never thought they were problems. I can't really say the disability has impacted my life in a way that I can immediately say. I've always considered it normal. I've always grown up with it. I've got a few friends with it. It's just kinda another mindset for me, really. Maybe other people notice awkward body postures, gestures, and crap like that, but I don't know, not looking someone in the eye while talking to them is kind of normal for me. I don't think it's impacted my academic life much, fortunately. It's just mostly social. I don't really talk to a whole lot of people face to face. I tend to talk mostly online. All but like two of my girlfriends have actually been in real life. But I guess with a lot of friends that have also been through the same exact thing, I think it's more internet culture than Asperger syndrome. I think the greatest time that's ever really been a problem for me was when I decided to move out to Newport News. I was normally living with my mom in Missouri. My dad lives in Virginia. And I was visiting my dad over the summer. And shortly beforehand, I had found out my stepsisters my stepfamily is going to move in as well. So it was my stepmom, my stepsisters Ashlyn and Aurora, all three of which I've known for a long time, but I haven't seen them in a long time, so I had to kinda get to know them. I don't know, I guess it wasn't all that hard. Most of the challenge came from making new friends in a new environment with a new group of subcultures. At Missouri, I lived in the middle of nowhere. Everyone was kind of either a redneck or a hick. Now I come out here and you have more social groups than what I could count. I have friends from a number of these different social groups. I try to keep up with them all. Of course, there's not enough hours in the day to do that. But I try my best. The thing about Asperger syndrome, I haven't really heard a whole lot of stereotypes about it. But there are some things that might seem a little bit misleading as someone tries to explain it. And I try to leave those misleading details out completely. I think describing it as an autism spectrum disorder, it probably is. I'm not a psychologist, but a lot of people hear that Asperger syndrome is a form of an autism spectrum disorder and automatically assume the person is autistic and therefore stupid. But Asperger syndrome is considered to be a high-functioning autism spectrum disorder, and most people with Asperger syndrome are actually incredibly intelligent. If you've talked to anyone with it, well, usually they'll show it. You just have to talk to them about their obsessions. If you see a person who's obsessed with snakes, who has Asperger syndrome, you talk to them about snakes, they'll go on and on about it they could probably go on for days if time permitted. But you'll understand that people with Asperger syndrome are intelligent, just on narrow subjects. Another thing also, a lot of people with Asperger syndrome have, as described here, awkward gestures is how they phrased it, such as not looking a person in the eye when they speak. Well, if you talk to a person with Asperger syndrome and they don't look you in the eye, it's not really rude. A lot of people may interpret it as rude, but that would be just as rude as going up to as a person with OCD wanting to arrange a pile of their own stuff. I mean, I think it's more rude to expect people to look you in the eye than for someone not to look someone in the eye. So it's really the average person that I think is the one with the real disability here. People need to learn that other people do have real disabilities, that these disabilities should be respected. Sometimes you don't know, and that's understandable. Not everyone would be able to guess automatically that I have Asperger syndrome. I've met some people who might have attention deficit disorder, or ADHD, or something like that, and not know. But once they find out, you can't really expect a person with true attention deficit hyperactive disorder to honestly sit down in a classroom setting for hours. Expecting that is ridiculous, although the school system somehow manages to do it and still honestly feel decently moral. But just the same as that, people with Asperger syndrome, well, the main thing they need really is at least one good friend who will listen. I like to rant about philosophy. That's why I've made videos on YouTube. That's why I've written a lot of these down. That's why I talk to some of the friends that I do. I've got a friend who likes to talk a lot about her boyfriend. That's her obsession. I had a friend who loved dinosaurs. I always loved listening to him rant for hours about dinosaurs, just as long as he let me rant about the thing that I was obsessed with then, cars. I've got a friend who I really think might have it, but she likes to rant on and on about snakes, and Phantom of the Opera. Well, that's actually one of the things that I love about her. Just this passion that she has for snakes and Phantom of the Opera, and the dreams that come out of that. Well, I should end this soon here. My girlfriend's probably going to get impatient. You ought to check out at some point rword.org. I'll put the link in the description. And I would suggest that if someone does have a disorder, to find out what it means. Ask them about it. I'd suggest also using Bing Health. I might also include a link to the description of the link in the description of that. These disabilities, they're really differences. They're not really disabilities, of course. They make a person react differently in different situations. These mental differences, as I'll phrase them right now, a lot of them are actually, it's hard to understand, hard for other people to understand. That's why things like Bing Health are here. Well, also for other things like parasites and bacteria and unimportant stuff like that. But disabilities, the word is kind of inaccurate. And that's kind of why I brought up rword.org in the first place. Ah, crap, that's it. Close this video.